I know that I had a topic for today that was going to piggyback off of last week's topic. However, what I love about podcasting is that since it is my podcast and since you just got to say what's on your heart. You know, if you are someone that's really just starting a podcast or really you're listening to this podcast because you're an artist who is really trying to step in a different version of themselves and really up level and really be seen and heard as an artist, but also as like a spiritual entrepreneur, I think it's just important to say what's on your heart. Say what feels alive for you. You know, oftentimes we go about making content, whatever that content might be, YouTube, Instagram, TikToks, podcasting, all the things. We go into it with an idea that we have to like design it or to plan it. And oftentimes I do think it's a really good idea to be planning your content, especially depending on the season that you're in. However, a lot of times what's happening in your life as of that moment, today, yesterday, whatever it is you're walking yourself through right now, is always going to be the most energetically potent, especially if you're feeling it feels alive in your body. So what I like to do is I love on the both sides of the feminine and the masculine. So when I think about like the balance between the feminine and the masculine, I'm looking at the masculine as my strategy, my structure, the discipline, the devotion, the kind of things that offers me like a list of things to do, and my feminine offers me that flow. So the masculine really supports the queen, it really supports the feminine in order for her to flow. And that's why I love having, you know, for me, the way that I work best as a manifesting generator, sacral authority, Virgo, you know, all of these things that like, you know, kind of give me a sense of like who I am and my own identity and what works well with me and what works well with my like almost archetype, with my astrological signs, all of these kinds of things. And then what I've learned about myself just over the years is that I really like having lists. I like having routines, but I also like to have room in those lists and those routines for me to flow. So if I have an hour down for like, oh, I've got to make sure that I do this, and that, like considering like make a piece of content or something of that nature, I'll have it listed out for the day. But if I decide not to do that thing, like for instance, this morning I was supposed to, you know, have my, my piece of content that I wanted to write out this morning, and then start on Scale, which is my newest program that's coming out in the middle of December 13th, which I'm so excited about. All about scaling your business if you're looking to become an educator, coach, mentor, as a tattoo artist who is looking to create passive income from that lens, and learning how to do that and how we create a digital product. And so in case anybody wants to know, because it's still open for base membership, so you're more than welcome to come in on it. It's going to be an amazing thing. So today I was supposed to have, you know, write a piece of content, write Scale, and like continue to write Scale, because I have I know exactly what I'm going to be writing about. I know exactly what I want my months down to be. And so I'm going to write Scale. This morning, I ended up not feeling like I wanted to post. I was just like, you know what? I'm not feeling alive. I'm not going to force a post. It's all good. And then there are days where I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to be posting this week. And all of a sudden, I'll just feel alive and go for it. So I was able to kind of just like follow the energy. Yes, I might have things planned. And if it's not necessary for me to do them, if it's not imperative, it's just something that's on top of, it's like more on top of more. Like I post almost every day. Actually every day if you count stories. And so it's like I'm posting every day, whether that be through email funnels, whether that be through Instagram, TikToks, podcasts. Like I'm always creating some sort of content because that's something I really enjoy. It allows me that creative outlet. I'm going to do it. And then if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. If I have plans to do it and it's not necessary for me to do it, I'm not going to do it if I don't want to. I'm always going to follow the energy because the energy informs the strategy. Now, that being said, like I said, I was going to be talking about a different topic today. However, something that feels really alive for me is haters. And so I want to talk about haters. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I had just posted an IG Live, which is so interesting that I posted this IG Live before I started really receiving hate in the past few weeks. Now, don't get me wrong, I get a lot of hate, but for some reason, these past few weeks have been really getting to me, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So we're going to get into it. So we're going to be talking about the two different types of haters. Now, if you've heard this podcast in IG, we're just going to deepen in today. But if you haven't, you're in for a real treat. So the two different kinds of haters that we have always are, of course, the ones that we know of, the one outside of us, the online troll, the person that has something to say that's negative, the person that likes to take the things that we say, manipulate them so that they can skew them in a way that makes them believe in the context of whatever they want to believe it in, and so that they can hate on that context that they've put you in their box with. They can just like hate on that part of you. Those are haters. And then we also have the inner hater. We have the hater within us that badmouths us, that judges us, that makes us spiral. The one that's really on top of us is always like, oh, you did that, oh, you did this, makes you feel shame, makes you feel insecure, makes you feel doubt. It's all of these things. But I gotta admit, like, the first hater that you're really wanting to look into is the one within, because the one outside of you is always going to trigger the one within you. And until we can deal with the one within us, we are never going to be able to deal with the ones outside of us. And that means that we will never up level, and it will cause us to have a reaction of fight or flight, which more than likely will dysregulate our nervous system to cause us not to do anything outside the box to cause that reaction again from someone else outside of us. So instead of growing big and doing big things and being unapologetically expressed, we tend to stay small and be digestible and be palatable because we don't want people not to like us. And that's a big thing, my friends. Earlier today, I was talking to my partner about it because this morning, of course, I got some more haterade. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is really getting to me. And I knew that it started to get to me because I started to talk about something different on my social media platforms. I started to come out and start talking about money and how much money I make. And I was talking about it in a really big way because I'm promoting my newest program, Scale, which is about telling artists how they can scale their business and utilize and diversify their income streams by becoming a coach, a mentor, or creating a digital product that they can sell that helps people. And then they can sell that on the back end while they're tattooing, they're making money. And so what I was doing throughout my content, which is really edgy for me because I don't mind talking about money, but I know how triggering it is for others to hear and talk about money. It is so triggering because people demonize money for centuries. So it is in our blood. It is in our DNA to demonize money. And it's so funny because it's like, okay, they see this, they think I'm bragging, they think I'm egotistical, they think I'm doing some sort of pyramid scheme. And I think that was the biggest one, was that I was a schemer. Like I was using my spirituality as a scam. And I think that one really hurt the most because a part of me, my ego believes might be a little true. I was like, oh my gosh, am I scamming people? And it does. What ends up happening is the word scam. So I'm going to walk you through how I deal with my own hater inside of me. And so people outside of me are saying things and it's triggering me, and that's always going to happen. The best thing about them triggering me is, like I say in all of my other podcasts, is the fact that it's going to shine a light on a wound that I have deep within myself that I would not have seen had I not said the thing, and then they in turn react the way that they reacted. And normally, if someone calls me a name, calls me ugly, tells me that I don't know how to tattoo, those used to bother me. Now they don't, because obviously I know that it's not true. And I know intrinsically it's not true because I have dealt with that part of myself and I've healed that part of myself to know that I'm a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. Doesn't mean that I'm the best tattooer in the world, but I know that I'm fucking good. And I know that I've worked hard to be really good, and nobody can take that away from me. So as many people that want to tell me that I did it with luck, that my titties are the reason that I make money, and that I don't know how to tattoo, that doesn't hurt me. Those comments don't hurt me. So the next iteration of my growth, the next iteration of who I'm meant to be and who I am becoming, is causing me to have to up level. And so what I'm doing is I'm saying edgier things. I'm saying things that are no longer familiar to my community, especially to people that are like, whoa, she's talking about her money. Like, how braggy is she? This is a scheme. This is a scam, and all of these kinds of things. And so as I'm talking about money, I'm starting to realize all of people's insecurities. Everybody's like basically giving me their insecurities on a silver platter. They're like, we don't like this, Reese. We don't want this, Reese. We liked you for this, this, and that, but now you're all braggy, da-da-da-da. And of course it hurts because everybody wants to feel liked. It is in our first survival tribal mentality, first survival chakra. It's in our root chakra that being a part of the tribe is life and being outcasted from the tribe is death. So of course the natural reaction for me is when people are like, I no longer like you anymore, it's going to be really, really tough on my nervous system. And so of course I'm like, okay, I'm hearing this. And then of course there's other tattooers that are like, you're a scam, this is a pyramid scheme, and these kinds of things. And what I've realized is that the reason why scam, the word scam or schemer or whatever it might be, really triggers me, because as I went deeply into this, I was like, why am I being so triggered by this? And I know that I'm supposed to up level from for the next iteration of my being, for the next part of my fulfilling my purpose. I know that this is happening for me and it's happening through me, but I can't quite see what it is. And it's really, really, it's really, really pitting my energy and my frequency and lowering my vibration. And I obviously, of course, I want to heal that part of myself, give myself space to be angry and upset and sad. And then also to really get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, what is really happening within my body? What is the truth of what's happening inside of me? And so when I get down to that truth, when I shine the light on that wound, I notice that the word scheme or scam or pyramid scheme or whatever that means, like, I don't even really know what a pyramid scheme is. I had to look it up on Google because I don't know how many times I've been called that. Like, I've been called like a scammer or something. And I was like, am I a scammer? And so I was thinking about it and I was like, scammer means liar. It means, the word liar really, really, it really, really hurts in my body because of how many times I've been told I've been lying. And as a little girl who was sexually abused and then told her family and then they didn't believe her, lying was always something that I felt like I couldn't tell my own truth in order not to like rock the boat for people. And so the word liar is a deep-seated wound that I didn't really know. I thought I might have definitely healed a lot of those parts of me. So I always was such a people pleaser. I would like hide behind a mask in order for me to be liked because I didn't want to rock the boat. So by me saying my truth, it was not allowed. So I felt like I had to lie. And then it was even worse when I did tell my truth and I was called a liar. So I was like, okay, as a little girl, I was like, I need to I need to not tell the truth. I need to tell what people want to hear, and I need to show people what they want to see in order to feel liked. And of course, as all of you know, if you've heard my story, I was doing that in this industry. I have done that, and I've done a lot of things that I'm not proud of, and it has to do with like lying. And so especially, when in 2016, I was caught very publicly after my career being like so amazing, and I was traveling a lot and I was doing a lot of things, and on paper it looked amazing. And, I got caught for taking tattoos and posting them as my own. And so that right there, that was like the pinnacle point of all the things I'd ever done in my past, behind me since 2016. I was like, all right, I never want to be out of integrity again. And if I am, just like give me a twinge in my body if I feel like I'm being out of integrity. That was like my next, that was my promise to God, to source, to spirit, to the universe, that I was like, I want to be in as much integrity in my body and in myself, because I never want this to happen again. I don't want this to happen for anybody else. And of course, that's actually a big reason why I became a coach, was because I know that the trauma that sits within my body had caused me to act the way that I did in order to protect myself, and not knowing how much not knowing what I was doing along the way. I didn't look at it from a long-term perspective. I only was just protecting myself each moment that I felt like someone might attack me. So I was like, how do I just be liked? How do I just say the right things? What do I need to do to just say the right things? It wasn't the right thing. Of course, I know that. I understand where the mistake lies, but I also know that if it didn't have that journey, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so when someone calls me a scammer, I don't understand why I'm so angry. And then all of a sudden, what I do is I get really quiet and I go inside my body and I ask her the questions. And she tells me the answers. You are so wise. Your body is so wise. She wants you to know. If you're feeling triggered, that is the sign. It is the sign that you are ready for healing. And I didn't realize that I had even deeper rooted, and it's still even deeper than that, on the next thing, because I know deeply in my heart that I'm meant to do something really, really big in this world. I'm already doing really big things, especially for me. And I know really big things for people that are watching. And so I understand that I'm putting myself in the line of fire for people to, I'm making myself vulnerable for people to have opinions about me because I am so obsessive with being unapologetically expressed and helping others do the same, especially spiritual entrepreneurs and tattoo artists. I want them to feel that they can express themselves fully and truthfully because of the fact that not only is that so liberating for yourself and for this life, for the fulfillment that you want in this life, but it is also so fucking amazing for your business. The more that people can connect to your truth, the more that people become die-hard. That's how you create die-hard brands. It's that simple. It's like, how much can I own my truth? And by you owning your truth, you are inadvertently becoming the leader and the example for everybody else that only wishes they could do the same fucking thing. And so if I'm over here feeling the conviction to make sure that I am in my truth, but I say things that honestly, that are on my heart and that are real and true, and they come from an intention that is gold, yeah, I am going to put myself for fuel for fodder. And I know that, but I'm doing it for the collective. Like, I feel like I know in my body, and a lot of people would be like, oh, Reese, you're so full of yourself. I get that all the time. It's like, but I know in my body that's what I'm meant to do. And nobody's going to understand me. Very little people are going to understand me. Very, very little. And the people that do, you're here, you're listening, and you get it. You understand it. Even there might even be some things that I have triggered you with. You're like, oh, I do not like what she just said right there. But I respect it because you are aware enough to know that there are multiple infinite potential perceptions. And so it's one of those things where I find myself, of course, like, I would never write a negative comment on anybody's thing. That's just not my vibe. Like, that's not what I would do. I would never do that. I might have an opinion and I will notice that opinion really quick. I'm like, ooh, Reese, were you being judgy right there? What's about that? Like, what's that about? You know? And so I love to get really clear and ask myself really, really deep questions to understand who I am, why I do the things that I do, why I react the way that I do, so that I can expand, become bigger, and show up better. Like, that's a whole thing. So what I had to do is I had to clean up the hater within me. And really, that hater inside of you is just your protector. I don't even look at it as a hater because it's just like your knight in shining armor. It's just trying to protect you. It's trying to protect the little girl, the inner girl, or the inner little boy within you, the inner child, so that the inner child doesn't have to feel wounded. But the thing is that protector tends to be that negative self-talk, that judger, that opinion that you know that you just don't want to hear, and yet all of a sudden you have an opinion about yourself and then someone says it outside of you to validate it, and we're going to, you're going to perpetuate that reality. You're going to perpetuate the things that happen. You're going to bring that in. You're going to magnetize the things that you already feel within you, and it's just going to validate it outside of you. So if I already felt like, oh gosh, like there's a part of me that feels like a liar, because of course I'm stepping into a new iteration of myself. I'm starting to talk to artists who want to become coaches. I'm no longer talking about, I am still talking to the artists who want to grow their Instagram and to really accelerate their tattoo business and how we do that in the marketing and the business aspect of it. I'm trying to help tattoo artists grow their businesses, but now I'm elevating the conversation and speaking to a very, very specific audience. And when I speak to a very specific audience, it's unfamiliar to all of the other people around me that I've been speaking to for years. The moment that I became a coach 3 years ago and started talking about Instagram, a lot of people hated it. And I remember having to up level from that as well. And then again and again and again. And here is my next new push against I'm pushing against the resistance, and this is how we grow. The only way we grow a muscle is we have resistance. We have to have something heavier than we've been carrying normally. And so we have to do something different. That's the only way we grow. And of course I'm hitting that resistance. I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like people really are upset by this, and especially money. Money is a really upsetting thing for a lot of people. People demonize it. I remember the times that there was no way I'd ever speak about money. My family hates it when I speak about money online. I had to sit them down and have a really, really clear conversation with them, talking to them about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that we all should be celebrating the thing that helps us get to where we are. The thing that helps us push what we're doing further. And honestly, I believe everybody, if money in the hands of good people, are going to do great things. That's where I'd want my money. I want everybody. There's enough money to go around. And that's the thing, is that there's this scarcity mindset that it's not enough to go around, that if I have it, someone else won't, or if they have it, I can't have it. And if they're talking about how much money they're making, they're braggy. When really, I've said this before on many other podcasts, and I'll say it again, me being more me is going to make me more money. The more me I am, the more money I make. The more good I do in this world, the more it's going to come back to me in some capacity, in the energetic frequency where money, where joy, where freedom, where wealth, abundance, all of these, that frequency lies in a very similar, energetic frequency. So whatever exchange that I seem to be receiving, fulfillment, these word, happiness, joy, abundance, wealth, money, like whatever that might mean to me, whatever energetic frequency that lies in, I'm going to receive it in some capacity. And what's so funny is that by me being more me, by me being more unapologetically me, and the more, like this past few weeks, the worst hate in the world. The worst, because I was just like, holy shit, like this is on another level of hate. And it's on another level of like how much I've walked myself through it. Like most people really admire the fact that like when people are hating, I am right there, like, yeah, and I'm very much a validator. I love to validate people. I am a creature of kindness. I will never hate on you back. And I'm just like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like I love to validate people, because what they're doing is all haters are doing is they're taking a piece of what they've seen or heard, creating a whole story around it, tacking that story onto you, including their fears, including what they think you're doing, because they don't actually believe it's possible. So they're just going to put all of my fears, blame it on me, and then tell me why I'm wrong. And so then I'm holding on to the responsibility of their own fear. And if I'm triggered by that, then their fear somehow has infiltrated my own beliefs. And because it's infiltrated my own beliefs, is because there is a tiny, maybe seedling, tiny microscopic part of me that actually believes what they're saying is true. And if I believe that, and I feel upset or anger, whatever it might be, I go through the feelings, but then I also ask myself, okay, let's dive deeper. What do I need to know? And if I can't get an answer from my body, how do I integrate this, and how do I allow you to heal? Those are the questions. What do I need to know? And if I can't figure out what it is to know, this one was a very clear one for me. When I asked, I received. When I asked, and I'm talking about asking, I'm not talking about one-time meditation asking, I'm talking about sitting in meditation for an hour a day, asking the same question over and over and over again, and it allowing me to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And also, I have therapy. I don't go without therapy. I don't believe that you can be an entrepreneur growing in this business without having some form of help or therapy or mentorship or something that's guiding you along the way. I personally think you absolutely can do it on your own, but it's really, really hard because you feel really, really alone. And if you're surrounded by people that are doing the same thing and are up leveling and doing crazy things, it's just normal. Like me talking about money, it's normal in my world. It's normal in the coaching world. It's normal in the spaces that I'm in. It's normal. Like it's just normal. My coach, $12 million in 12 days. I mean, $2 million in 12 days. Like, that's fucking crazy. That's fucking big money. And when I hear that, it doesn't make me upset. It doesn't make me jealous. It doesn't make me like, oh, she's bragging. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's a celebration for her. But for most people, for 95% of the people out there, they are like, they hear $2 million in 12 days. Bitch, liar, scammer, all of the names they want to say to her. And she's just like, yeah, bro, not a vibe. But of course it hurts me because I've dug deep into what's happening. So normal in my world is like, we talk about money. We talk about how we make money. We talk about being spiritual and making lots and lots of money. And that actually a byproduct of being so spiritual and co-collaborating with the universe is actually going to allow me to have an easeful time making that money. Like, as you see me walking through this own stuff, yeah, it was hard, but it's not as hard as it used to be when I didn't have any control, when I gave all my power away to all the people outside of me because I didn't have any awareness for what's going on inside of me. I blamed everything outside of me. I gave my power away. And you know what? I needed that and to learn it to how to do it now. But you have the opportunity to choose. It's like, how do I want to walk in this life? I want to do it from an easeful place. It didn't say it was fucking easy. It's never easy. Growth isn't easy. Get that out of your head. It's never going to be easy. However, it gets to be easeful. Business gets to be easeful. Meditation gets to be easeful. This life is a practice. It's all practice. But it's the devotion to the practices that you put yourself in. What am I devoted to? If I am devoted to my growth, to my business, to my family, to my wealth, the money that I make helps me grow things. It helps me give back to things. The other day, people are telling me how braggy I'm being about money, yet I just gave someone practically a $10,000 tattoo for free. Like, she's getting 4 to 5 sessions, getting 4 to 5 sessions. If we're talking about at least $2,000 per session, we're talking about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 grand, 5 days. If let's say I was only doing, I was making about $2,000, and I normally make around $2,000 to $2,500 per session, 7 to 8 hour days. That's what I make. Reasonable fucking pricing, and for what I do. And of course I'm like, no, I'm going to give this woman this for her for free. There's no way I could have been able to do that, because I'm trading time for money, if I didn't have another business on the side supplementing some income, my coaching business. And yet here people are being like, you're so braggy, I've always wanted a tattoo from you, but now I'll never get one because your prices are crazy. And I'm like, my prices are not crazy. They're definitely higher, among the higher luxury end. I get tattooers telling me, oh, you're the reason what's wrong with this industry. You charge so much. And I'm like, wait, what? That's crazy pants. Like, don't you want to grow in your business? Isn't it hard staying stuck? Like, I know for me that, like, I could be content with where I'm at, but I'm always up for growth. And growth meant just in my internal growth, but my internal growth caused the external growth as well. It wasn't that money was the first priority. It wasn't that part of it. Yeah, I used to look at money as definitely a metric on my success. And then when I stopped looking at it as metric as my success, and I started looking at what felt like success to me, I actually started making more money because I stopped focusing so much on the money, which is so funny because I'm talking about money and I'm like, yeah, but you don't quite understand. But of course, people take it out of context. So it's not my problem. And I really, honestly, I have such a loving compassion for all the people that take what I say out of context just to make them feel better. And hey, all the power to you. You know what I mean? Like, it out of my hands. I mean, like, I'm not here to save anybody. I'm here to save myself, and I'm here to express how I do that and offer guidance to the people that want to do the same. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just guidance. I don't save you. You save your goddamn self. I'm over here just telling you how I did it, walking myself through it, and you can do the same. And you can take what I say and, take what you don't like, leave what you don't like, take what you do, and then walk in your own world with that. That's all we are. That's what I love about being a coach. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to guide you. And that's it. And if you choose me as your coach, that obviously means that we resonate in some capacity. Okay, so once I have dealt with the hater within, and every new iteration of myself, every time I grow, will offer me another new light to a shadow I don't know that's in my body, so that I can unearth it, heal it, integrate, and grow some more. I know for a fact that since I know I'm meant to do really, really big things and to say really big things, I've always saw myself on big stages. I've always seen, like the band Queen size kind of group, concert hall, like thousands of people all meditating with me. Like, I've seen those in my meditation. I see lots of people coming in and out of my life. I see myself guiding a lot of people. I see a lot of the people I guide doing bigger and better things than me, and that's what I fucking want. That's what we all want. As mentors, like as a mentor, it's not only that I want you to grow, I want you to grow, surpass me, and I want to help you do it. Like, for me, it's like, yeah, I've done this in 12 years. Let me try to help you do it in 3. Yeah, I became a coach and it took me 3 years to figure everything out. Let me help you do that in 3 months. Like, that's like, let me help you start that and get the tools you need in the 3 months, and then you can continue to practice it. Like, that's why I build these programs that I do. And that's why, this help, like me helping people seems to be just like such a treat for me, because it's like, wow, I get to impact more people at once, utilize my time in a really, really beautiful way, instead of just trading time for money. And now I get to trade time for money, or I just get to trade time and energy now, because what, I get to give a free tattoo for a woman who had double mastectomy scars, came to me asking me, hey, do you think that like I could just know how much this might cost if I wanted to get a tattoo by you? I had her come in, had her give me my story, surprised her with the fact that I'm gonna do it for free. It's like, the fuck? Like, not everybody would do that. And especially not everybody would do that from a place where it's like not doing something for them. Most people give away free tattoos in the online space so that they can grow their community. It's like, oh, okay. To everybody that I'm gonna be doing a free tattoo giveaway, and tag 3 of your friends, repost this on your side, and you'll be entered in to win. That is definitely a beautiful way to do it. I think it's a great way for engagement. It's a great way to grow your community. It's a great way to offer something. I didn't do it for anything but just the fucking feeling in my body. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't say it out loud. It wasn't for engagement. It wasn't for clout. It wasn't for anything other than I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to give this person this tattoo. Like, even my like, assistant was just like, what? I was like, yeah, this is probably going to take like 4 or 5 sessions. And especially when we were like, oh, we're going to do an octopus. I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take a long time. And I have no problem doing it. And I wouldn't have been able to do something like that. I wish I could have, like, don't get me wrong, but 3 years ago, when I'm like, my days, like, that's where I make money. If I'm not working, I'm not making money. That's a tattooer's life. If you're not tattooing, you're not making money. And so 4 and 5 days missing out on anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000, that's a lot of money. And it's that would be really hard to do. It would be really hard to do if I wasn't, in the right headspace, if, without having other extra income coming in. Like, yeah, I'm fucking the nicest person as can be, but I understand that I've got bills to pay, just like everybody else does. You can't fault me for not giving away five days worth of tattooing until now. Now I can. Now I'm like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome. That felt better than money. Her entire world, her energy felt better than money. It didn't feel bad to do it. I felt so good. And how good and even better is that, like, throughout that entire week, I was making money on the side. I was making money off my programs, off monthly memberships, off all of these things. Like, that's a vibe. And that's my next iteration. It's like, I don't want to have to charge people an arm and a leg to get tattooed by me. People come to me for a very specific reason, and that's for trauma healing. And I do that through the modality of tattooing, as well as I do with coaching and embodiment work. And so it's like, I get to play in all these different places. I have fun. That's fulfillment to me. That's success to me. And guess what? All of a sudden, I'm making more money than I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought that. I never thought that I would do that. And so as I am in the online space, I'm literally in real time telling people how I'm doing in my Scale launch program. I made $10,000 in 1 day. I made, in 6 days, I think I made over $30,000 just from launching Scale. And because of how I was saying it, and I was telling people in real time how I was doing it, and it really got to people. And then the haters came in. And then, of course, when haters come in, things go viral. And when things go viral, more haters come in and more people have opinions. And it's like, honestly, you feel like you're not even on the right path anymore because you don't understand why this is all happening. And don't get me wrong, I've had my moments. And then we go in and we deal with the hater within us. And then we see what's going on there. And then that's how we deal with the haters outside of us. And so for me, one of these things was gone viral. It'd been going viral for over a month. It was getting just kind of nonsense when it came to the comments. So what do? I protect my fucking energy. I turn off the comments. Easy. I don't need to like martyr myself out there and continuously allow these people to show up into my space and where my energy is just being sucked at this point. I'm like, listen, people can still watch this. Yes, I see that there's a lot of people out there that are really resonating with what I just said. Don't get me wrong. There's over like 10,000 people loving on this post. But at the same time, it's like, then there's also the other people that just want to hate. And the only people that are commenting are the ones that want to hate. The people that are sharing and liking, those ones that like it. So it's like, okay. But let's go on to the liking thing too. I was talking to my boyfriend today, and we were talking about like this woman, I forget her name. It says that if you have It's basically saying, like, I want 80% of people to hate me. I want 80% of people to hate me because the other 20% of those people are going to absolutely love me. If I am only liked, then I am mediocre and I don't have a brand, I have a product. So I love that. Like, that statement right there is just mind-blowing to me, because if you're not saying anything that's getting people to feel something, you're not stopping the scroll. You're not stopping them from being unconscious. They are unconscious. Your shit goes straight into the shitter. It just goes straight into the forgotten black hole of doom scrolling. And if you're too afraid to trigger people, just trying to stay digestible for everyone so that you don't get canceled, then you're only making just like meh content, and your tattoos are meh. It's not going to be memorable. So the way I look at it is like this. You don't have to be the best tattooer to get a lot of love. And you know what? And I'm not saying that being likable won't make you money. That's not it at all. And I'm not saying to be so outlandish and so like, whatever it might be, clickbaity, like when it's, like clickbait, like headlines or something that gets people like so riled up. You don't have to do any of that. But what I am saying is that if your tattoos aren't telling the story, then your movement needs to tell the story. There are people out there that do above average tattooing. There are a lot of tattooers that do average tattooing, above average, and then there are the greats. The greats, they tell stories through their tattooing. But ones that get you really thinking are the ones where they're, doing all the porno tatties. You're like, whoa, porno tatty. And you're not going to forget that artist, right? They're doing something outlandish. It causes a stir. People are like, oh my fucking God. Like, what am I watching? And you're like, some people are uncomfortable. Some people fucking hate it. They're like pissed off about it. Some people love it. But no matter what, it's going to be a love-hate thing. There's no just liking. There's no just middle ground to those kinds of things. It is the same thing with what you believe in. If I'm going to stay digestible, then I'm just going to stay like, on where I'm at, It was really edgy for me to talk about my spirituality, and it was really edgy for me to talk about spirituality and business. Now, not so edgy so much, because I've actually gathered a lot of people in my community that really believe the things that I believe in. And now I'm talking about money. I'm talking about, growing your business from a tattoo artist to something more, something different. Still being a tattoo artist, utilizing the same methodology of healing people. However, it might be just taking a step up and helping the artists help others heal people, or it could be helping other people just in general heal themselves. Inner child work, trauma healing work. This could be just helping people grow their businesses, how they start a business. It's like all of these things we want to help people with, except on a grander scale. We're helping people with the tattooing. Now we're going up grander. People don't like it. They don't like it. They want you to stay the same because it's what's familiar to them. And so people are going to hate it. And the thing is what I look at it is it's like, I am not here for the people that are only going to love me for parts of me, because I am not here to only love the parts of myself. I'm here to love all of me. And if people aren't on board with that, that is A-okay, and they can leave. Or they can say something mean. Either one. But at the end of the day, if you are not getting people to hate you, then there's very little people that are beginning to love you. And if you are only being liked, then you're not being memorable. And that's a difference. Like, yes, I can be liked, and there's going to be a lot of people that love you. There's going to be a lot of people that love and like you in that way. But the moment that you step out and you start expressing your beliefs and why you're doing the things you're doing, you're going to be creating that die-hard type of people. Who am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the artist that believes in something because I believe. I like to believe in things. I like to put myself into believing in things. Like, I believe in those things. Like, it could be the greatest of great tattooers of realistic tattooing, the greatest of great tattooers. But this guy does porno realistic tattoos, and this one just does warrior women empowerment tattooing. This guy over here does porno tattoos where a girl's gagging hard on a cock, and this girl over here does warrior tattoos where women are empowered and fucking lady bosses. Which one am I gonna resonate with? They both do amazing realistic tattoos. I'm gonna probably go with the girl that does empowerment tattooing because I'm an empowered woman. Not saying that I don't fucking totally respect and fucking high five the guy that can do realistic, deep throats. But at the same time, it's like, You know what I mean? Like, and it's the same thing with all the way going all the way down. You can have a really, really shitty garage tattooer that does stick figures, and then you can have a really, really, above average person that does stick figure tattoos. But like, they both kind of look the same because it's just like they're both stick figures. And all of a sudden, the one that's low here is like, well, I do this because of whatever reason it might be. They're opening up to a fact that, my daughter that had passed when she was really young drew stick figures all the time, and I just want to commemorate her memory by doing more stick figures and stick figure families and stick figure stuff. This person over here is just like, I'll just do really good line work. It's like, damn, like, who, like, whoa, I might choose the one that's gonna, like, really, like, holy shit, I'm gonna resonate with the one that's, like, really heartfelt. And maybe they kind of look the same. Yeah, maybe this guy's line work is a little bit better, but, like, that is a really gnarly sell. Like, I'm just like, damn, like, I can resonate with that. Like, I believe in that. I would get tattooed by someone like that. If it, it's like, I'm just making all this shit up. Okay, so take it as you will. Please don't take it personal. Please don't. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just making it all up. And so it's one of those things where it's like, we're going to connect. We're going to click to the people that resonate mostly with us because their beliefs match ours. And so when we can open ourselves up to being vulnerable in the online spaces, yeah, it's going to be vulnerable for a lot of people, but that's how people fall in love with you. You don't have to be like me where you're so edgy and disruptive to the point where people are just so unseated they want to hate on you. Like, that's my journey. Your journey could just be, I'm a mom of 3. I am tattooing because I can't believe that I get to do my art and with people, and I get to feed my family. And this is so amazing, and I feel so blessed to be doing something like this. Like, the more that this particular hypothetical person speaks about family as a value and connection as a value, and her beliefs as a value, and just trying to feed her kids as a value, like, I'm paying that's a value, just to be able to not only just survive, but also have her little sense of success. That's success to her, is being able to put food on the table for the kids. Like, that is really real. We could go on Instagram, just post our tattoos and think everything's hunky-dory, or we can be real and be like, yeah, I remember the times when it was really hard. Like me, people could talk shit about my past all day long and discredit me all day long. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, but I own that shit. So it's like, nobody has anything over me to discredit me with. It might hurt my feelings sometimes, depending on my mood that day. But at the end of the day, I know who I am, and I know who I am becoming. And so the hate gets to be less. And then when the hate is less, when we really change the relationship we have with the hater within and turn it into the perception of the protector within, and then we know that we can have a better relationship with that protector, and we can calm that protector down not to protect us so much, and that we can integrate this because we can handle it. We can handle the huge, big emotions that are happening within the body because we don't reject ourselves. That moment, we can do that. We can do anything. And then we raise the level of what we are capable of. We move in this world in a bolder, braver way, and we up a level. And we don't waste this time, this very little time we have in this human experience. Because I know every life I've ever had, every past life that I've ever had has gotten me to this moment. And I think I'm the youngest I've ever been this spiritually awakened, if that's a word. It's like, I'm 36 now, and I feel like it's taken me a long time, but I can only imagine in my past lives where I didn't even hit it, where I didn't even get close to it. And every single life that I have a redo and I have a start over, is that I'm just healing all the parts of myself, all the parts of my generational ancestral trauma in order to move forward. And so the next life that I live, although I won't remember this one, I might not remember this one, it's like maybe it'll come sooner. That's all we're doing. So I'm not going to waste this life. I'm not going to waste it by being small or playing small. It's just not my vibe. That's not how I do shit. Yes, it's going to hurt. Yeah, comments fucking hurt. And especially when they poke at a wound that you didn't realize you still had. Of course. But we know that's the tools that we get ourselves through it. So heal the hater within. not even heal it. It's not about getting rid of it. It's about having a different relationship with it. Everything in your body is a relationship. Everything outside of you is a relationship. What kind of relationship do I want with the hater within? What kind of relationship do I want with the protector within? What kind of relationship do I want with the haters outside of me? Depends on my mood. I'll protect my motherfucking energy and turn off comments. Hell yeah. That doesn't make me weak. That makes me fucking empowered. It means I put my foot down and I say no. I say no, absolutely not. This is my empowered no. This is my no. I say no, I protect my energy, and I move on because I do not want my energy to be informed, my strategy to be informed by the energy of low vibration because I gave my power away to a person that had something to say and, really just continuously draining me of energy. Like, that's not a vibe for me. I don't want anything to have any bit of control over what I do and over what I say, because of the fact that I want to be unapologetically expressed. And it even happened when today happened, and there was a mean comment. It kind of deterred me. I was like, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like posting. I don't feel like doing podcasts, whatever. And then I got with it, and I was like, actually, you know what? I'm going to protect my energy. I'm not going to say anything back to this person. I don't need to dignify anybody with a response. And at the end of the day, I'm going to just turn off the comments, and I'm going to protect that energy. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, this is weak. Don't know, but you got to be strong. And I'm like, no, that's not weak. That's the strongest move I could ever make because I'm protecting myself. And when I have a boundary is self-love. Boundaries are self-love. So that's what I'm going to stick with. And so I gave myself self-love. It felt so empowering. I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to talk about in my podcast. So I decided to talk about it. I wrote about it in my program Scale, because I know this is what's going to happen to all my females, all the people in there that are ready to up-level their business and really ready to step outside of themselves and make a declaration that they're up-leveling. That's a scary fucking thing. And people will have something to say about it. And they need to, and it's going to be up to us to stay strong. And it's the same thing with you. Even if you're tattooing and you're just growing your tattoo business, it's the same thing for you. How do you want to experience your life? Do you want to experience it hiding constantly, not confident, feeling like you're always trying to people please? Or are you trying to experience it from a place of empowerment, from a place of sovereignty, from a place of sourced self-power? I'm pretty sure you're going to say that one, okay? So, at the end of the day, that's the way that we deal with the hater within, and that's the way that we deal with the haters without. And absolutely so many beautiful ways to growing your business, but I will tell you right now, the best way to do it is when you feel like you're in your truth, and when you feel like you can be unapologetically expressed and you can handle anything that happens, because that growth is so good and that expansion is so good. And guess what? The more that people see you and your work, whether that be your tattooing, your coaching, whatever it might be, the more people you help. So the more honest you get out there, and the more people that might be like, oh, I hate this, but then that hate turns that thing viral, and all of a sudden that virality shows so many people that actually do believe in you, and they come on in. You just never know. Yes, there was a post that went viral. Not that I think you need to go viral in order for you to grow your business. I honestly don't think you need virality at all. At all. You don't need to go viral to have a really, really strong business, to have one that's scaling. I know so many people that have never gone viral, and whether it be making way more money than me, whether it be making, doing a lot more and bigger things than me, there's so many ways that we could metric success and see success. And so it's you don't need a big following to do big things. It's not a thing. But when you are in your truth, you allow people to come in and to be a part of something that they may have felt really alone with. And think about that. Think about how you might have felt. Every single one of us, I don't even want to hear it. If this doesn't resonate with you, I don't think you're in the right place. But if you've never felt alone in something that you've been doing, there was a moment in time where you're like, I feel really alone in this. Think about all the other people that feel the same way. And the one time you say something that's a little outside the box, that's a little edgy, but it's talking about your truth, Think about how many people that felt alone will no longer feel alone. That's why I do it. That's why I say the things that I do. That's why I do the things that I do. That's why I am really, really outlandish and crazy sometimes in the online space. And sometimes people that love me get triggered. They're like, oh shit, I can't believe Reese just said that. I get it a lot. And I'm sure a lot of people don't tell me a lot. But some of my biggest, people that have invested a lot of money with me, whether that be with mentorship or coaching or programs, they've always told me at the end, they're like, oh my gosh, Reese, I thought you were so cringeworthy. It was not a vibe for me. But the one thing that they did different than everybody else that didn't think I was a vibe is that they asked themselves why. They got really clear with why they were judging me. What was it about me that they felt they needed to judge? And they got their answer. And they were like, wow, it's something I really want to heal. And that's something Reese does really, really well. So maybe I should work with her. So you got to think about it, you guys. Like, yeah, I'm brave enough to say the things out loud. And it hurts. It does. Just be, God. 3 weeks of just blatant hundreds of comments of shit. It's like, wow, it makes you really just like, dude, am I doing the right thing? But then when you come back home to yourself and you realize where you're fulfilled and how it feels so good to do what you're doing, and although it might feel bleak or it might feel lost, you might feel lonely, you know that you can always come back and you're like, no, I know what I'm doing is right. And if I can hold that integrity, then there's no hater inside of me. There's only my protector, and he's like, all right, Reese, let's go. And then I can deal with everybody outside of me at that point. I love you guys. I hope you loved this episode. Tell me in the comments. Send me a DM. I love hearing your DMs. I love hearing your takeaways whenever you have them. I just love you guys. So